Over the past 2 months, I've been doing some digging. I've spent countless hours searching through old Facebook posts, private courses, and even going undercover to try to put the pieces of this puzzle together. All of this exhaustive research, the hours upon hours spent searching for the missing pieces, all to uncover the truth behind a South Park video essay channel that just felt off. So you all might remember a little video I made almost 2 years ago now called, "Can I make a South Park video essay only using AI?" Well, back when I made that video, the answer was yes, but it would be terrible. Well, a lot has changed in those 2 years, and my silly little video I made testing the limits of AI has become reality. And during this research, I might have accidentally uncovered a network of thousands of channels doing the exact same thing, lying, deceiving, and manipulating their viewers, all in the name of making a quick buck. And the worst part about all of this is that the vast majority of people aren't able to recognize this deception. In fact, there's a pretty good chance that they may have fooled you at one point. And you know, I wasn't initially planning on making this video. I don't like drama or calling people out or any of that stuff, but this was different. This was personal. This is hurting the community that I care so much about, diminishing the work that me and so many others have put into something we're passionate about, and blocking others who share that passion from the success that they deserve. And they're doing this by creating a soulless entity of a machine that is fueled by generative AI, and they are dead set on using this machine to extract every last penny they can from a community that they couldn't care less about. Now, you may not understand why exactly this is such a bad thing, which is why I felt the need to make this video, but I figured it would be best if you didn't just take my word for it. So I made some calls.
Call in everyone.
I basically assembled the Avengers of YouTubers who overanalyze cartoons. So, let's meet the team. LS Mark, the established, outspoken veteran, a valuable asset to the team, just don't get on his bad side. Johnny Two Cellos, the analytical, logical thinker. Try to hide any underlying themes in your media and he'll find them. The Simpsons Theory, aka Lydia Loves Timelines, the deep diving, theory crafting wild card. Underestimate her and she'll show you why that's a mistake. Slush, the fearless up-and-comer. You may not know his name yet, but you will soon enough. And then there's me, the South Park guy. The one that's like, I guess, one that's like kind of passionate? No. Whatever, the intros are a work in progress. This team of expert cartoon YouTubers and me have assembled with one goal and one goal only: to save the community from the evil forces of AI content farms by taking out their leader, Carrick Artman. Let's do this. But first, let's start from the beginning. Honestly, digging into this has just made my life worse all around, but you know what's actually made my life a lot better? Today's sponsor, Raycon. I've been using Raycon's everyday earbuds for a little over a month now, and I gotta say, they're kind of awesome. They fit super comfortably in my ears thanks to the ergonomic design. They have a 32-hour battery life, so I don't have to worry about running out of battery when I'm out on the go, and even if they do run out, all it takes is 10 minutes of charging in order to get 90 extra minutes of battery life. Raycon's managed to rival the audio quality of some of the biggest names in audio while only being half the price. Like I said, I've been using them for a little over a month now, and they're pretty much always in my ears. Whether I'm going for a walk or working out or really anything during my day, they're comfortable enough to stay in my ears for long periods of time. And it's that time of the year where you start getting amazing deals on products that you wouldn't have gotten before, and Raycon is no exception to this, as for Black Friday, they're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering my viewers up to 30% off site-wide. So it's time to save big for Black Friday. Go to buyraycon.com/blooms today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/blooms. So if you're looking for a new pair of high quality earbuds, go get yourself a pair of Raycons. And a huge thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Around 2 months ago, I was casually scrolling through my recommended page on YouTube, as I tend to do, when a video caught my attention. The South Park episode about toxic relationships. Oh, interesting. I made a video like that a while ago. I wonder if this person has anything interesting or original to say about the topic. Maybe some things I missed in my video. Let's check it out. I started the video and immediately thought, man, this editing, scripting, and narrating all seem pretty professional. I'm surprised I've never heard of this channel. I look at the name of the channel, Carrick Artman. Okay, well that name kinda sucks. Just move the C from Cartman's last name in front of his first name. I mean, not super original or catchy or really anything good about it, but hey, I'm named after a flower, so who am I to judge? So I look at how many subscribers they have, and I notice they only have like 1,000. Huh. That's weird. Surely they must have been doing this for a long time and just haven't found that much success yet. So I clicked on their channel, and their first video was uploaded less than 3 weeks ago. Huh, that's even weirder, and in that time they've uploaded, wait, how many videos? 7? They uploaded 7 20 to 30 minute long analysis videos in 18 days. That's one video every 2.5 days. It takes me 7 months to upload 7 videos. Granted, that's more because I don't understand basic time management stuff, but even still, if the only thing I did from the time I woke up until the time I go to sleep every single day was working on writing, narrating, editing, and making thumbnails, I might be able to upload a video every 3 to 4 days at the most. And that would be me literally committing every single waking hour of my life to doing that. And those videos would be terrible. So it was immediately obvious to me that there were multiple people working on this channel, which in itself is suspicious. There's nothing wrong with having multiple people working on a channel. Most YouTubers will begin to outsource work once they're already well established, things like editing and thumbnails. But to start a brand new channel with multiple people who are clearly experienced, this was an immediate red flag. To put it in perspective a little bit, here is a clip from Carrick Artman's first video.
South Park has made a lot of iconic episodes, a couple of questionable ones, and 2 that made fans fear that the show is going to get canceled because they were so serious.
And here's a clip from my first video.
That I'm not entirely sure if this concept has an actual name, so go ahead and let me know in the comments if it does, but I like to call it flipping the script. This writing technique is definitely my personal favorite.
And at that point, I had been making videos on and off since I was a child. So was Carrick Artman just a literal savant in the South Park video essay niche? I was suspicious, but I decided to keep watching the video. And I quickly realized that my initial impression of high quality content was pretty far from reality. The editing was flashy and eye-catching, but felt generic and soulless. The writing was frankly boring, mostly summarizing episodes with very surface level observational commentary without really saying anything.
This is when Cartman and Heidi start to turn into one of those disgusting couples that wear matching outfits, do everything together, and just rub their happiness in everyone else's faces. It's annoying AF.
They threw a couple of jokes in there occasionally, but it just felt like these jokes were added on top of an existing script. And the narration, I could not put my finger on it, but something was wrong. It was off, the inflections, the emotion, everything. It was just off. It was uncanny, unsettling, maybe even inhuman. It felt like some things were supposed to be jokes, but it was being read by someone who didn't know it was a joke. And the script had this pattern where they would just have this surface level commentary, then a weird tangent that seems barely related to the topic before returning to the commentary.
Denying them their God-given right to adoration is a sin. And Cartman is about to get diabolical on that little sinner, Heidi.
I was only like 2 minutes into the video and I was so confused. There was no structure, just chunks of commentary glued together by basic jokes. And then this happened.
However, about 6 months in, your fantasies start colliding with reality and the halo starts to fade. So you realize that your girlfriend is not quite the perfect angel you had in your head. For starters, she never shuts up. She just wants to talk and 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 talk. It's not so bad when you're with her because you can always shut her up by putting something in her mouth.
Huh?
But when you're apart and you're on the second hour of a FaceTime call, listening to her tell a pointless story about a hairdresser who cuts 2 inches off of her friend's hair instead of 1 inch, you just want to yell at her to shut up.
What'd he say?
So you pretend to listen because you don't want to hurt her feelings. You probably sit there and keep toggling the Wi-Fi on and off and on and off over and over again just to make the call buffer, and then blame it on her having a poor network connection. She wants foreplay. She wants you to be romantic. Take her out more. Call her more. Blah, 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 blah.
What the fuck was that? Was that supposed to be a joke? Why did we just spend nearly 3 minutes of the video talking about this dude's hatred for his girlfriend? If it was a joke, it was certainly hard to tell considering the narrator sounds like an alien attempting to mimic human emotion the entire time. Nothing in his voice made it sound like he was joking or being sarcastic, so if he was, he certainly needs to work on his delivery. And I don't need to point out how, if this isn't a joke, it essentially invalidates anything this guy has to say about Cartman being a narcissist, considering he doesn't realize that his own behavior could be used in the DSM-5 as an example of narcissistic behaviors.
Now, unlike me, Cartman is a psychopathic, narcissistic monster demon spawn.
I'm barely even a third of the way through this video, and I am so confused at this point. So many things just didn't add up about all of this, and I couldn't get over that narrator. Why did he sound like that? Why was he constantly mispronouncing easy words, almost like he was reading a typo exactly?
That rackles Cartman to no end. I had my barber empathize my hairline every time I got a haircut.
How could he be so clueless he doesn't even know how to make the jokes correctly? In another video, he literally made a joke about Compound V from The Boys, but this is how he read it.
Before he drank Compound 5 and got jacked.
At first, I didn't even understand how you make this mistake, but then I realized that they were reading it as if it were the Roman numeral V, like Compound 5. So I decided to watch more of their videos, and all of them had these same small issues. At first glance, the videos were totally fine, yet if you really listen and think about what they're saying, it's wrong. All these weird issues made it obvious to me that the person reading this script is obviously not the person writing the script. At the very least, they hired someone to read the script and gave them absolutely no context about what they were reading or any of the jokes, and they are just totally clueless on everything, or something even more nefarious is going on, something inhuman. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And the craziest part about this was all the comments were totally positive. I didn't see a single comment pointing out anything that I've pointed out. Everyone was just talking about how they're an underrated channel. I couldn't find anyone criticizing them at all. I felt like I was losing my mind. How am I the only one that recognizes all this weird stuff going on? I have a bad feeling about this, and I really need to figure out what the hell is going on with this channel. I immediately had my suspicions as to what exactly they were doing, but I needed some proof. I needed to get to the bottom of this, so I started digging. The first thing I noticed is the thumbnails and titles of their first videos. If you watch channels like mine, these are probably familiar to you. That's because these thumbnails and titles are direct copies of 3 videos made by Made to Express, another YouTuber. Now, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking inspiration from people's thumbnails or titles. I've done it before, every YouTuber does it to some degree. I've even been inspired by this exact thumbnail and title before. But the difference is, mine is inspired, but not copied. I used aspects of his titles and thumbnails, but I still made it my own. And because I thought that even still this might be too similar, I even credited Made to Express in the description, and he didn't seem to mind. This, on the other hand, this is not inspiration. This is stealing. I mean, just look at them. If you saw these 2 videos side by side, there'd be no way to tell which is which. What this tells me is that, from the beginning, they don't seem to be the most ethical content creators. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's certainly not a great look. So I thought, maybe I could get in contact with them, explain to them that this isn't cool, and get them to explain all the other weird stuff that I've noticed in their videos. So I checked the description. Nothing. So I checked their channel bio. Nothing. Another red flag. This seemingly professionally run YouTube channel has absolutely no social media links or contact besides a business email. Weird. Well, looks like I'm not getting in contact with them. But now I knew that they were willing to steal other people's titles and thumbnails, so I thought, what else are they not being so honest about? I go back to the description and noticed how formulaic it seems. Almost reminds me of how I would write my discussion posts in college. Wait, I copy and pasted some of the descriptions into an AI detector and, yep, 100% AI generated. So they use ChatGPT to write their descriptions. Again, on its own, this isn't the worst thing in the world, but considering how blatantly they were willing to use generative AI, it continues to solidify this pattern of not so ethical behavior. I tried to do the same with their scripts, which I speculated were also at least partially written by ChatGPT, but I couldn't get anything conclusive. So I moved to Google. I start simple. I type in Carrick Artman with quotes around it to make sure all the results have that name exactly. I scroll for a while, not really getting any information until I stumble across this Facebook post that was made in a video editors group on Facebook. Urgently, need a professional video editor who can create animation videos like this. This same post was actually made in several Facebook groups, a couple different video editing groups, one called YouTube Cash Cows and one called Pakistani Video Editors Hire. I wondered if the person making these posts was the owner of the Carrick Artman channel. If he was, maybe I could find out more about their operation. So I began searching through his Facebook page and I noticed he claims to be the co-founder of a company. So I look up this company and I end up on their website. The company claims to be a software development partner, and as I click through their website, I notice their generative AI package. They give some examples of things you could do with it, and the first one is most interesting to me. AI-driven content creation? I look through the site's about page where they list all of their employees, and I notice that all of them are either from India or Pakistan.
When I will grow up, I will be army and save Pakistan and destroy India.
Well, that explains the posts made in the Pakistani Facebook groups, and the fact that some of the posts claimed he was looking for only Pakistani video editors. In fact, it seems like almost all of the hundreds of thousands of people in these Facebook groups are Indian or Pakistani. Huh.
My pledge is to help people who need for like people money and all this.
He's going to help the people in Pakistan. Great.
So I spent a few hours digging through all of their LinkedIn pages and trying to find any connections, but the most I could find is one of the co-founders has YouTube creator in their list of jobs on LinkedIn. I didn't get anything conclusive, but as I did one last scan of their website, I noticed a link for a Discord server. Obviously, I couldn't join on my main account, or that could be pretty suspicious, and if I wanted to talk to the person that made the post, he seemed only interested in Pakistani people, so I had to go undercover. The name I came up with, Stan Marsh. It looked Pakistani enough for me, so I joined the server. The server was literally just me and the employees, and as I searched through it, most of the channels were blocked. I was able to find 2 flyers though, one advertising their generative AI and chatbots, and another advertising their graphic design services, which specifically included YouTube thumbnails as one of their examples. I tried to message the dude that made the Facebook posts initially to act like I was interested in the job, but they never got back to me, which I gotta admit kinda offended me a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty sure my resume is a little better than most of their editors. But after that, that was it. That was all the info I could gather about this company. I hit a dead end. Was this actually the person who ran the Carrick Artman channel, or was this someone just trying to imitate them? I couldn't be certain, however, it was strange that this dude who runs a software engineering company is making posts looking for editors to work on cartoon analysis YouTube videos, and it's kind of coincidental that they seem to have a specialty in generative AI considering my theories. But regardless, that was it. There was nothing else for me to find. I was stumped. I never found any concrete evidence that this channel is tied to the company, and I also never really found any significant proof that Carrick Artman was doing anything wrong, besides maybe copying thumbnails. So, I gave up. There was nothing I could do. I just had to live with the fact that Carrick Artman's gonna exist and continue to get more and more popular, despite knowing deep down that something was wrong. And I just could not get over the narrator. What were they doing? Why did the narration sound like that? It was so weird, but there was nothing I could do. So, I gave up. For exactly one day, because the very next day, I got this DM on Twitter. Can I edit South Park videos for you? Here is my recent edit. Oh my god. This is exactly what I was looking for. I thought there was no way I'd ever get in contact with these people, and yet here they are on my doorstep reaching out to me. So I thought about it for a few days and decided I can't let this opportunity pass me by. I'd consider it. If you don't mind me asking, do you make these videos yourself or just edit them? And if not, do you know who writes and narrates them? Now, obviously I had no intentions of actually hiring this person considering how much I dislike that editing style they use, but I knew the only way they would give me any information is if I acted interested. And it worked. I only edit them. The one who writes the script is someone else from the team. So immediately we get confirmation of what we already knew pretty much, and that's that this is a team of people working together. Now, honestly, just having proof that this is a team of people working on this channel is enough proof to me to say that this is a pretty scummy thing to do. If you watch any of their videos, the narrator is always talking in the first person. Same with any comments he makes on the videos or any community posts he makes. It's always, I am doing this, or I never would have known. It's never the team or we. Even the bio of the channel said posting weekly South Park video essays where I go over topics and how South Park has handled them. Clearly the people running this channel want it to seem like it's one person. Like this is just a dude that likes South Park and is making videos about it. They're going out of their way to hide the fact that this is actually a team of people working on this. Now again, I have no issue with a team of people working on a YouTube channel. The issue is that they're lying about it. This isn't just some dude that's uploading his South Park videos from his dorm room. This is a full-blown, professionally done operation. And this professional operation cosplaying as some dude that makes South Park videos in order to avoid the stigma that comes with being a content farm, that's pretty fucked up. But I still had so many unanswered questions. I wanted to find out exactly what was going on, and I wanted to prove that there was something weird about that narrator. So I asked the editor, okay, then who writes the scripts? He's a guy from Kenya. Huh? Kenya? I was definitely not expecting that. So I think it's safe to say that the script writer is not the same person as the narrator. I mean, maybe I'm being stereotypical, but that doesn't really sound like what I would expect someone from Kenya to sound like. And by looking at the editor's Twitter page, it was obvious that he was Indian, so clearly he's not doing the narration either. So I need to know who is doing the narration. I know it seems like I'm kind of caught up on this, but I'm telling you, this was the thing that was driving me the most insane out of all of this. But after that absolute bombshell, I knew I needed to play it cool to keep this guy talking to me. So I give a long-winded response, pretty much glazing the editor and the channel, and I end it by asking for more information about this team that he claims to be a part of. This was the response I got. Yeah, the team runs multiple channels, so they are experienced. We are like 3 editors for one single 20-minute video. I'm the guy who edits the first 6 to 10 minutes of the video because intro part matters. Okay. Another absolute bombshell. Now, obviously, I had my suspicions that this content farm probably spanned over multiple channels, but to have it just confirmed outright to me like that was shocking, to say the least. So now we know for certain that this team consists of at least 4 members, 3 editors, and 1 writer. Plus, there has to be a narrator somewhere because obviously no one that we've talked to so far is doing the narration. So I took a moment to think about it, and when I did, I realized something else. You're telling me that a team of 4 people is capable of completing a 20 to 30 minute video essay and uploading it every 2 days, and apparently running several other channels at the same time. This is straight up impossible, and it further solidified my theories that they are clearly using some kind of AI technology to help with this. The editor continued and said that he doesn't know much insider stuff because he only joined it a month ago. He ended this response by saying that I am their competitor and that they are heavily inspired by me. Oh, really? Oh, really? The Carrick Artman channel, it's really inspired by me. No way. No, it's not. Really? Carrick Artman, inspired by my videos. No. So I respond in a similar manner, asking if they have a name for their group or if they work for a company or what. And he responds by saying that he doesn't know, he never looked into it, and he just joined a Facebook group one day called Carrick Artman. Something tells me that he might just be playing dumb and he does in fact know if he works for a company or not. But for whatever reason, he is hesitant to share that information. After that, I ended up chatting with him a little bit about YouTube just to keep the rapport going. I didn't really get any more information, but at this point, I was fully back into this investigation. And coincidentally, not too long after this, the YouTubers slushhhhh and LS Mark happened to drop their videos about the white thumbnail channels. If you haven't seen those videos, I highly recommend you go watch them, but the shortened version is that YouTube has become infested with these channels that all have the exact same thumbnails for their videos and are basically just AI generated content farms where they're pushing out these videos that are basically just summarizing episodes of cartoons. It's super lazy, and more of these channels were popping up every day for different shows. And this is something that I had known about already, but what I realized is that this all sounds kind of familiar. In fact, this sounds a lot like what I speculate the Carrick Artman channel to be doing. But the difference is these white thumbnail channels were easy to call out because it was very obvious that these are all just AI generated slop. The Carrick Artman channel, on the other hand, did seem to put in more effort to concealing the fact that they were using AI. Specifically in the scripting, since it seemed like they had a writer that would take the AI written script and piece it together to make it more human-like and add the jokes. Whereas these white channels seemed to just read directly from a ChatGPT script. But it was incredibly validating after researching this for so long to see that someone else is recognizing the similar patterns. But even following these videos being released, no one was calling out Carrick Artman specifically. So I decided to leave a comment on Mark and slushhhh's videos, basically saying that this rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than they even think it does, as there's channels that they might not even realize are AI generated. Now, the day before, I had been DMing with Johnny Two Cellos, and I actually mentioned this situation to him. I sent him basically all of the evidence I had gathered up to that point about Carrick Artman, and his opinion was nearly identical to mine, that it seemed like these scripts were AI generated and then they had a person go through and edit them. But I had also mentioned to Johnny my theory that I've been hinting at this whole video, and this theory is that the narrator for this channel is in fact not a real person and is just an AI tool that does text to speech. Now, Johnny didn't necessarily agree with me on this. He thought it was a real narrator, and that is the case with pretty much everyone that I talked to about this. But I am telling you, as someone who has listened to more Carrick Artman videos at this point than probably anyone else in the world, this is an AI narrator. It might just be one of the best AI text-to-speech voices I have ever heard, and they make it even more convincing by adding fake pauses, fake ums and uhs during the narration. But I'm telling you, it's AI.
You know, you got the puppy love stage. You just can't really get the girl otherwise.
But we'll talk more about that later. So at this point, Slush reached out to me on Discord about the comment I left on his video. He already had my Discord because he reached out to me after I had a temper tantrum in the comment section of his Pip video after he made a joke about me. I was being very sensitive and it's incredibly embarrassing looking back on it, but we're cool now, and I gave him all the information I had about this Carrick Artman stuff. And with that, I had 2 new recruits into this investigation. Immediately after joining, Slush then asked me if I had looked at Carrick Artman's community page. It hadn't even occurred to me, so when I went and looked, I was shocked by what I found. This is a very long post, so I'm just going to summarize the important parts. He makes a joke about being canceled. Again, all of the language used in this is very specifically designed to make it look like he's just one person, but he talks about how he uploaded a video called "Every Time Eric Cartman Deserved to Go to Jail," which then received a copyright strike, causing them to push it back. He even supplies us with proof of the fact that the video was done before Tuesday with a frame.io link. Now, basically, the reason he's specifying the day is because he claims he's being accused of copying another YouTuber. He also mentions that he really enjoys watching another creator called Sweaty Clam. Now, if you had watched those white thumbnail videos we're talking about, you would recognize that name immediately, because Sweaty Clam was one of these white thumbnail channels and was very clearly using AI. So the fact that Carrick Artman follows it up by saying he was making really quality content and he really recommends that everyone watches it is a little weird. And the fact that he was very clearly trying to create one of these white thumbnail videos is also really suspicious. So then he goes on to basically throw a pity party for himself, complaining about all the mean comments, saying that he was fearing for his safety and that he was getting messages directly targeting him, which obviously isn't true considering he's not one person, he's multiple people, and if it's the writer that's writing this, which is of course what I suspect, he lives in Kenya, so I don't think he has much to worry about. And my favorite part of this post is when he says, "So yeah, I let them get the better of me and took my video offline. Congratulations." He also talks about his motivation for becoming a content creator and how it's to provide fun entertainment. Yeah, I'm sure. But honestly, I think the funniest part of all of this is the fact that obviously he's trying to appear as one person, but he was so focused on proving that he wasn't copying this dude that he uploaded the entire video to frame.io before it went live. But literally the entire purpose of frame.io is team collaboration on projects. So if you were really just one dude making videos, you would have literally no reason to have uploaded the video there. This whole thing was incredibly dumb, but the biggest piece of information for our purposes was the fact that he was trying to create one of these white thumbnail channels, essentially. So that's a bit more like circumstantial evidence to say that they're probably using AI, because all of those channels are. It was around this time that I was scrolling through my YouTube recommended page, which I tend to do, when something caught my eye. Somer Himpson. You know, that's kind of the same naming scheme as Carrick Artman. And you know what else? These thumbnails are exactly like Carrick Artman's. In fact, the whole video is exactly like Carrick Artman's. The narration, the editing, it even has the same disclaimers in the description. So obviously, I figured this was the same people that made the Carrick Artman channel. But as always, I wanted to have some proof. And the very first thing I noticed was on Carrick Artman's newest video at the time, there was a pinned comment in which he discusses how this week there will only be 2 uploads instead of the usual 3. I go and look at when the Somer Himpson video was uploaded, and it just so happens it was uploaded on the exact same day that this post was made. What a coincidence that right as the other channel begins to upload, the Carrick Artman channel reduces their amount of uploads. Almost as if adding this channel means that they now have to split their attention between 2 channels. And if that wasn't enough proof for you that these are definitely owned by the same people, I did some digging into the editor's Twitter to see if I could find any connections, and I noticed he tends to interact with a small circle of Indian and Pakistani editors. So I was looking through the pages of all the people he interacts with the most, and one of the ones he interacts with more than anyone else just so happened to have this tweet pinned on their account. If there's one thing I've learned about these Indian and Pakistani editors on Twitter, they cannot help but flex their views. Even when they are clearly supposed to be secretly working for a channel, like they can't tell anyone the name if they ask for it, they still gotta post whenever something does well. And it definitely made this investigation a little easier.
My pledge is to, when I will grow up, I will help the poor people by giving their home, by giving them homes.
Inshallah, he is going to give homes to everyone.
To me, this pretty much proves that it's the same people. So after this, I began to notice more and more of these channels popping up. They were all exactly the same. Same thumbnails, same narration style, same editing style, same disclaimers in the description, and a character animated in the same style as the show. At this point, we knew these were all connected, but we didn't really have any ways to get any new information. So I decided to try my luck with the editor again and see if I could get anything else out of him. Hey man, are you still looking to work on South Park vids? vids? Sure, what will I be doing? Please tell me more. Well, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I was thinking about having you edit some smaller videos for my second channel. Do you still work for the Carrick Artman channel by chance? Yup. Is there any issue for? I think he meant, is there any issue with me working for the channel? Well, I'm not certain about anything yet. I just had some ideas for some more casual stuff where I talk about South Park. I've never really hired an editor before, so I'm not sure what pay would be. If you don't mind me asking, how much does Carrick Artman give you, just so I have an idea? Funny enough, this is actually kind of true. I've only hired an editor twice. It was my boy Octopox. He edited the video where I read fan fiction, and he also edited one of the videos on my second channel where I react to a South Park analog horror series. It's actually pretty funny. I recommend you check it out. I then asked about the channel. I said, I know you don't know much about the people that run it, but what was the hiring process like for you? Did you apply for it, or did they reach out to you, and how did you find them? I also asked if it would be possible for me to talk to the person that writes for the channel. So he responds, that guy is from Kenya, and I talked to him about your proposal, and he felt flattered and told me that he is loyal to the team and he does not want to waste your time. Though if you do still insist and want to try yourself, I'll give you his Discord ID. And for my question about how he was hired, he totally dodges that by saying, look, just hire me and I'll hire all the editors you need, no big deal. So he completely ignored that question. So shockingly, he actually gives me the writer's Discord ID, which I did not expect. And he lets me know that he told him that I'm going to try to talk to him. So I try to add him as a friend, and before I can even send him a message, I receive one. What we're about to read is probably one of my favorite interactions I've ever had on the internet. I talked to I am truly flattered, but I'll have to say no. It's a matter of honor. My current employers have been very good to me. I can't repay them with treason. I would be happy to work for you on other projects, but it can't be anything South Park related. Immediately, I am very confused. It sounds like he thought I wanted to hire him, but he's also talking like a samurai, talking about honor and treason. But I would also like you to take note of the fact that he says current employers, because we will be coming back to that. Oh, no worries. I wasn't going to ask you to work for me. I prefer to write my own stuff anyways. I actually just had a few questions about the Carrick Artman channel, if you don't mind. What sort of questions? Well, I was just curious about the team you guys are running. It's amazing how fast you guys are capable of putting out quality content, and was thinking about starting a team of my own. Do you guys work for a company? You know I can't go into details on anything, right? Oh, no, I didn't know that. Why is that? Isn't it obvious? You are the competition. It would be painfully stupid of me to give you anything that can be used against us. I'm sorry, what? All right, well, that is certainly a way to respond. Well, personally, I look at it as a community. I'm friends with a lot of people that make South Park videos, and we give each other tips all the time. It helps everyone improve their content. I didn't mean any disrespect, of course. I have no intentions of using anything against you. I'm not even really sure how I would use anything against you, LOL. Now, I gotta admit, I'm not the greatest actor. And I think in hindsight, me saying I'm not even really sure how I would use anything against you is basically the equivalent of Barry Bonds saying he wouldn't even know how to get steroids. But he responds anyways. I don't know what kind of tips I could possibly give you. You're the big dog of the space. We're just a bunch of upstarts. But no, we don't work for a company. We work for ourselves. We're just a bunch of guys. We've known each other for a long time. Some grew up together, worked on a couple projects, that kind of stuff. The company only got created after we started making some money on YouTube and an LLC became a more advantageous tax structure. So let's pause here and do a bit of a recap. First of all, him being so defensive to not want to share any details with me is probably the most suspicious response he could have given me. You see, I've talked to a few YouTubers, and when you talk to a YouTuber about what they do, they tend to be very enthusiastic about sharing information because they like to talk about what they do. I promise you, I have never messaged a YouTuber and gotten a response saying it would be foolish to tell me anything because I could use it against them, especially since I literally just asked if they work for a company. And also, responding in this overly defensive and rude manner is the last thing any YouTuber would do if the quote-unquote big dog of their niche reached out to them specifically. If Johnny Two Cellos had DM'd me when I was at like 1,000 subscribers and asked me questions like this, I would have told him fucking anything he wanted to hear, okay? I just would have been losing my mind over the fact that Johnny Two Cellos even knew I existed, let alone complimenting me. And also, what do you mean anything that could be used against us? Why would you say that unless there was something that could be used against you that you're hiding? And my favorite part of this, we're just a bunch of guys. We've known each other for a long time. Some grew up together, worked on a couple projects, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you're telling me that an editor from India just so happens to have been good friends with a random dude from Kenya who also happened to like writing scripts, and apparently also 3 other editors that are Indian and Pakistani, and some anonymous man with a perfect American accent to do narration for them. And if you remember, in the very first message he sent, he said, my employers have been good to me. So which is it? Are you a group of friends or are you employed by someone? I know what the actual answer is. The answer is that he's employed by someone, but still. So then I respond, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I would have loved to have friends interested in making YouTube videos. I have an LLC too, so I get why you would do that. Sorry if it came across as accusatory or anything. You just said employers earlier, so I assumed that meant you were working for someone, LOL. It's no big deal either way. Do you do the narration for the videos as well, or is that someone else? Now, obviously I know the dude from Kenya isn't doing the narration, but I just had to know. I'm telling you, I was obsessed with this narrator. I needed to figure out what was going on, and I wanted to see how he would respond. So how did he respond? It still feels like you're prying. I'm sorry, what? Why is he acting like I'm asking for the password to his YouTube channel? These are the most normal questions ever, and he's acting like these are the most personal questions I could possibly be asking. So I try my best to reel it back a little bit. I say, sorry if it's coming across that way, genuinely. I'm just trying to understand how you guys operate because you make great videos. The person who does the narration is great, and if it was you, I wanted to let you know. Seriously though, if you don't want to share anything with me, that's totally cool. I respect your privacy 100%. Somehow this actually worked, and I got one final response from him. We're not too different from your channel. We built the whole thing around one guy. There's a small team to help with research, scripting, and editing, but that's about it. There are no big secrets. There are no big secrets. We made 5 videos to start, didn't upload the first one until 5th one was complete. They popped off. This allowed us to do YouTube full-time instead of part-time like we'd been planning. That's the reason for the quick turnaround. We just work full-time. And luckily I got that screenshot like the moment he sent that, because he also edited his response like a second later to say, this bit of luck early on allowed us to do YouTube full-time instead of part-time like we'd been planning. I don't know why he felt the need to add that, but yeah. So this is by far my favorite response out of the entire interaction. My favorite line being, there are no big secrets. I never said there were any big secrets. I never made anything to accuse him of having any kind of secrets. If this conversation was with someone that had no secrets, this was not suspicious at all. I did not ask a single question that I would deem as suspicious. I've asked other YouTubers these questions just out of curiosity. But my God, I literally don't think you could have scripted a more hilariously suspicious response than everything he said in this interaction. You may also notice that he totally avoided the question about the narrator, didn't even respond to that at all. And that's because there is no narrator. It's not a real person. It doesn't exist. It's a computer, I'm telling you. So here's what I think happened in this interaction. I think the first couple of messages he sent were actually his responses, but once I started actually asking questions, he definitely just reached out to whoever's actually in charge, and that person started writing responses for him, hence the change from employers to a group of friends. So at this point, I could tell that they were onto me. Obviously, they knew what I was doing. They knew I was asking them questions to try to get some information out of them, and they didn't like it. So I figured I would try one last time with the editor to see if word had gotten to him yet to basically not answer any of my questions. So I asked him again how he got hired, and his response was, "You're asking lots of strange questions, brother. What's going on?" I didn't think it was that strange of a question. I was just wondering, since you reached out to me initially, if that's the same way you got the job working for Carrick Artman. My bad. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable answering, that's fine. Nothing to do with comfortability. I'm not sure where this combo is heading. You seem more interested in the channel, not in what I'm offering you. Let me know if you need anything else. And with that, I had officially burned all the bridges I had with the Carrick Artman channel, and now it was basically guaranteed that I had no way to communicate with them. But one thing I did have is this dude's Discord ID. And it just so happened that this Discord ID sure looked a lot like a first and last name. Not only that, a very distinct first and last name. So I immediately plugged it into Google, and this is what I found. Man, what a weird coincidence. Someone with the exact same name as this guy is on Fiverr, offering to write an original and funny script for any topic. And he's completely paused his services since around the time the Carrick Artman channel started. And he's from Kenya. Wow, what a weird coincidence. So if it wasn't already obvious, this is not a group of friends. This is a bunch of dudes who were hired by either a person or a company at incredibly low wages with the sole purpose of making a lot of money for that person. Now at this point, I had exhausted pretty much every single lead that I had. I typed everything into Google a million times. I've been through every page. I looked through everyone's LinkedIn pages, everything you could imagine. But at this point, I had gathered a ton of really good evidence that proved most of my theories correct. But I still didn't know if I was gonna make a video. I kind of felt bad for these guys. And I don't mean whoever's at the top hiring all these people. I mean the people that are being hired. These people are working for probably pennies, and it's hard for me to hate on them when they're just trying to get by. I decided I was just gonna take a break from all this for a while. This had been taking up so much time in my life, especially since we had pretty much found anything that we could find. It didn't feel like there was anything left to discover. So I'm just gonna take a long break, and whenever I come back, then I'll decide what I'm gonna do. This break lasted one day. Because the very next day, the day after speaking to this man in DMs, this was posted on the Carrick Artman community page. Lately, I've been getting some interesting messages from a few of you loyal subscribers. Apparently, my channel was mentioned on a website that sells YouTube niches to people looking to get into YouTube for money. I wasn't aware those sites were such a big deal, but it seemed to be quite popular. Basically the equivalent of Barry Bonds saying he wouldn't even know how to get steroids. They even included a detailed analysis on how anyone can copy my titles, they're not magic, thumbnails, also not magic, and script style, a little magical. Honestly, I take that as a big compliment. It's a testament to the immense support from all of you for enjoying my content and helping this channel grow. Now, I'm not here to gatekeep my content or any content on YouTube. Everyone in the content creation space takes inspiration from one another. Same goes for me. Think I don't watch Bloom's videos or Johnny Tucello's? I love them. Hopefully they watch mine as well sometimes. Oh, we do. More than you would think. In the end, it's all about delivery. This does mean that there might be more competition on the horizon, which is also a good thing. You are the competition. It would be painfully stupid of me to give you anything that can be used against us. It pushes all of us to step up our game, and if it leads to more quality content out there for you to enjoy and for me to take inspiration from, then I'm all here for it. And we give each other tips all the time. It helps everyone improve their content. That said, I believe the best content comes from passion and a genuine love for what you're doing, not just chasing a quick buck. Making these videos takes time, effort, and a lot of research. So if I see or you see other creators tackling similar topics in the future, I think it's important to remember that. Sometimes I might be working on a subject for a while, only for another channel to release a video on it before I do. That could make it look like I'm copying others, but rest assured, if that happens, it's not because I'm trying to copy anyone. It's just part of the creative process. I've experienced this once before, where there was some backlash because I posted a video a few hours after another YouTuber on a similar topic, hence this community post. Don't want to disappoint you, I want to be transparent. Things like this can happen, and it could easily go the other way around too. I'd never want to spend my time tearing down others. I'd rather use that energy to make even better content for you all, like I mentioned in my previous community post. So, to anyone looking to jump into this niche, you are more than welcome. Just please aim to bring something original to the table instead of doing a one-to-one copy of what others are already doing. We can all thrive together if we push each other to be creative. And hey, if you're interested in collaborating, partnering, or just have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks again for all the love and support. See you in the next video, which will be uploaded tomorrow. Hopefully, Carrick. You know, I don't think I have ever read anything in my entire life that made me as angry as this post did. This post is quite possibly the biggest fuck you I have ever seen in my entire life. The absolute gall of these people to create this post knowing I have the information that I have, to morally grandstand about their passion and their, oh, I don't want to spread negativity, I just want to fuck you, to use my own words that I literally spoke to them the night before about the importance of having a community and how it makes all of our content better. The gall to use that in this statement, which they are preemptively putting out to protect themselves for when this video inevitably comes out. The best content comes from passion and a genuine love for what you're doing. You know what? That's true. That's why your content is fucking garbage. That's why you make terrible content, because you have no passion. You're a soulless team of people. So to anyone looking to jump into this niche, you are more than welcome. Just please aim to bring something original to the table instead of doing a one-to-one copy of what others are already doing. Oh my god. Thank you, Carrick. Thank you, Carrick Artman, for giving me permission to make videos about South Park. And you're so right. I need to be original. I need to not steal. I need to not use AI. I need to have a real fucking narrator. I wish I could meet the person that wrote this. I'm not going to do anything. I would just want to look at them in the eyes. I would want to see what's going on in your eyes. You know what? It probably wasn't even a person. It was probably fucking ChatGPT that wrote this. Let's be... Okay, I am composing myself. I apologize. Now, I believe there were a few reasons for this post. Number one, to disassociate themselves from the other channels that are clearly them, such as Somer Himson. Because by putting up this bullshit about someone making a course on how to copy them or whatever, they can just say, oh, well, that's not us, that's just someone that copied us. Unfortunately for them, we have evidence that it is them, so they won't be able to do that. Number two, this is to distance themselves from anyone that is actually copying them, but who isn't as good at hiding the AI, so they don't get lumped in with all these other channels. And the funniest part is this is working because I've seen comments on a bunch of these other copycat channels calling these channels out for using AI while praising Carrick Artman in the exact same breath. I am not kidding. Number three, and perhaps most malicious of all, is to protect themselves against our investigation. They're trying to get out in front of it. They're trying to name drop me and Johnny and act like a fan of us, saying, oh, I'd never want to spend my time tearing down others. All of this is because they know that we're onto them and they can defend themselves by claiming innocence. Oh, we're just a small channel who wanted to make videos and spread positivity, all that bullshit. But I think they severely underestimate the extent to which we've been digging and the scale of this operation. This post is what finally convinced me to make this video. Preaching about passion and not doing it for money. It's sickening coming from these losers who are gaming the system to make as much money as possible in the most unethical, scummy ways possible, and also stealing my words to promote the idea they were so against in private. It makes my blood boil. Which is why we're doing this. I refuse to be complicit in this anymore. For a very long time, I didn't want to make the video because I didn't want to get in drama. I didn't want this to be a whole thing. But I realize I have a responsibility at this point as someone who cares a lot about this community to do whatever I can to prevent this from continuing in the way that it is. This sort of thing is not only severely damaging communities, it is damaging YouTube as a whole. I'm only going to talk about this briefly because this is a massive rabbit hole in itself, but if you look into YouTube automation, this is an entire world of hundreds of thousands of channels that are all doing this exact thing. They are started as an investment opportunity by someone who hires writers and editors from poor countries willing to work for extremely cheap, who then use ChatGPT, AI narration, and even AI images and video for everything related to the video. The people at the top can literally run dozens of these channels at a time. The editor mentioned that the team ran multiple channels, and this was before any of the other cartoon channels popped up. So these are clearly people who are very experienced in this, and everything we've learned suspected about the Carrick Artman channel lines up with this perfectly. Here's a document I found by signing up for a course that was just free online about YouTube automation. It gives all of the tips you need to do this and how you can use AI literally every single step of the way. There are entire YouTube channels dedicated to explaining how to do this as well. Here is a list of over 14,000 ChatGPT prompts for different niches. Again, this was free access online. And here's an example of one of their templates that they have for a horror compilation channel. Speaking of template, that editor happened to mention Johnny Two Cellos and seemed to say a little more than he was supposed to when he mentioned that they have a template master document that they use to write all of the videos. If I had to guess, it probably looks something like this. If I'm being honest, the only positive from this situation is that it seems like people are starting to catch on a little bit more. It seems like people are starting to realize that this upload schedule is impossible, and it's freaking them out a little bit considering Johnny happened to catch them changing their bio a few different times. Like I said, it was originally worded as if it was one person, but they changed it to say a team of 3 friends posting weekly South Park video essays, and then they changed it again to say a team of creators posting weekly South Park video essays. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned the fact that literally nothing Carrick Artman has done is original. In fact, his character, his little avatar, the one thing that I figured was original from this channel, is stolen. Armchair Analysis, a small YouTuber who is an actual real person, was using the exact same avatar a month before Carrick Artman started uploading. If you don't believe me, just look at the hairline. It's exactly the same. Now, I'm pretty sure that Armchair Analysis created his using the South Park avatar creator from South Park Studios, but I don't think that's what Carrick Artman did because the hair is different. The hairline is the same, but it's like they just painted over it. Why would he do that if he wasn't stealing it? Oh yeah, he also stole his title format from the channel Lavender Coffee, who has had several videos with the exact same format. Now, obviously, this isn't the most original format ever, but they 100% saw these videos and just took the title format. So, with that, that is pretty much all of the evidence that we have gathered against Carrick Artman. So that completes our investigation. So obviously, I don't think I need to tell you what my opinion is on this whole situation. I think I made that very clear. But now, finally, I will pass it to my friends that helped me make this video, so you can hear what they have to say about it.
What is up, friends? It's Johnny. Thank you all for meeting me here. Let's talk about this Sarek fellow or people. Obviously, my boy Blooms has laid it out about as plainly as possible. It is nigh undeniable that this thing is run on a ChatGPT engine built on a foundation of near plagiarism. And this is sadly becoming more and more commonplace. And I know a lot of people don't really see any issue with this. They kind of just say, hey, means more South Park videos for me. Who cares how they make them? And look, I can sort of understand this from a consumer perspective, but I just want to urge you guys to think about it a little more carefully. The truth is that, fundamentally, based on the way these videos are made, they are not being produced because they have anything to say. They're being produced with the intention of making a quick buck. Look, I didn't grow up with YouTube, so it was never my aspiration to do what I do for a living. I turned to YouTube as a platform because it provided me an outlet to be able to geek out about the stuff that I already loved to geek out about. It's because I had things I wanted to say. Obviously, it's become a great career and money is a great motivator, but the starting point was never, how can I get views on YouTube? It was, what's a good outlet for all of this geeky analysis I have in my head? These AI channels are the exact opposite. This team doesn't care about South Park. They don't care about the shows they're covering. They care about mining a topic for all it's worth. They found a niche to latch onto, outsourced all of the work for pennies on the dollar so they can spit out quick videos that are built on the backs of countless people who have already put in the work. And by making so many videos so quickly, they're basically speed running South Park YouTube. And as you can see, they've already started turning to other shows as well to mine those. And this is going to saturate the market with inferior products. Videos with no clear perspective that are primarily a hodgepodge of analysis that other people have already made, because that's how ChatGPT scripting works. There's a reason that this channel started by copying others. Their first few videos are straight up ripoffs. Their entire thumbnail format is stolen. Their avatar is a direct ripoff of another channel. There isn't an original thought in the entire operation. If we allow these channels to thrive, there's a good chance they will slowly take over the platform because YouTube prioritizes channels that post frequent, longer videos. Because they forgo all the hard work, they can crank out 60 to 90 minutes of videos per week, which means the algorithm prioritizes them, which means the people who are doing the actual hard work and analysis that these channels' ChatGPT scripts pull from could slowly die out. And if those channels die out and YouTube continues to fill up with AI-driven slop, the AI-driven channels will just have each other to pull from. We'll have AI feeding AI feeding AI to the point where original analysis becomes rarer and rarer. Creators will have to cut more and more corners just to keep up, and you'll be left with worse and worse content. And I am struggling to see a way to combat this outside of just urging you guys to be discerning about what you consume. There are so many great channels that cover South Park and The Simpsons and other animated shows in this realm because they're passionate about it, because they love the subject matter. If you look for them, you will find them. Supporting actual people who are putting their heart and mind into their content will always be more rewarding. You might get more videos from channels like Sarek Artman, but the quality is a complete facade built on the backs of more creative people. Support those people. I don't need you to watch my videos. I really just need you to make sure the people who you do watch have integrity. That's the reason Blooms has risen to be such a massive success in this niche, far beyond my own videos. He has a point of view, he has perspective, he has something to say, and he makes great videos with integrity. Look for those people. There's lots of them. Thanks to Blooms for giving me this soapbox, and thank you for listening.
I've talked about these sort of channels a couple times before, but I could not predict how rapidly they'd start growing. They're everywhere now. I think what bugs me most when talking about them, though, is the futility of it all. Like, making call-out videos on them is almost pointless in a way, because these aren't people who have any sort of passion for video making. Their passion is for analytics, trends, and, most importantly, making money. And they finally find that winning formula when it comes to how much you can make while putting in as little effort as possible. The only way to truly stop videos like this is for the trend to die. Audiences to lose interest in having episodes of TV shows recap to them with little to no personality or informative discussion whatsoever. But realistically, I don't see that happening. The average person either can't tell or doesn't care. It's just something to throw on while they work or do chores or play video games. Maybe the creators of these channels will eventually move on to a more lucrative trend, but even then, it isn't really fixing the issue at hand. I mean, realistically, can you even fault these creators? If there's a market for it, then who can blame them for trying to capitalize on it? At the end of the day, it all comes down to the viewer and their standards. That's the only way I can see things changing.
So first of all, Blooms, I just want to say thank you for doing this, dude, because watching these content farms pop up day after day has been very intimidating, to say the least. And I think that this video is going to do a huge service to the community by helping people get better at spotting the difference between a genuine YouTuber and a well-disguised content farm that's just trying to maximize revenue. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have an issue with people wanting to make money on YouTube. Part of chasing that dream of being a YouTuber is obviously having the income to go with it. Hell, I say it in my videos all the time. I care about the money. I'd love to be moist critical levels of rich. But for me, the thing that's always drawn me towards my favorite YouTubers is authenticity. When someone makes a video that feels like a window into their world, where their personality shines through, that's what I love. So when I see channels like Sarek Artman or Green Disney or Mr. South or whatever who are flooding this niche and making it that much more difficult for actual passionate people to have a chance at success, it really pisses me off, especially when they go so out of their way to lie about their motivations. Honestly, if they were just transparent about it from the get-go and didn't try to hide the fact that they were content farms, then that would be one thing. But that's not what they do. They lie to their audience, pretend to be something that they're not with a passion that they don't have, and make up fake stories about personal experiences that never actually happened. To me, that's just incredibly dishonest, and it stands against everything I value when it comes to YouTube. And I know I'm not alone here. I've seen it in the comments, I've seen it in the Discord servers. People want to support real YouTubers. That's one of the great things about this niche. The audience actually cares about supporting genuine content. And I know that this video is going to help people do that by showing everyone the tricks that these content farms use to disguise themselves. So that's basically how I feel about it. And again, I just want to say thank you, Blooms, for making this video. And also thank you to everyone watching out there that actually cares about supporting their favorite YouTubers. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Blooms. Now, from my perspective, I just hate how densified this space has become with basically passionless slop. These channels with their suspected AI processes, from the voices to the scripts, just shows they've got a real lack of respect for the art form that they're capitalizing from. Every television show that they talk about prides themselves with a passion and talent for animation, performance, and storytelling. But these people don't care about producing anything meaningful or celebrating these shows, artists, actors, animators, writers, anyone. All they care about is YouTube automation and money. Now, I don't want to accuse anyone of using AI without proof, but I do know that with most of these content farms, the voice you're hearing isn't the person running the channel. They're most likely hired from a website like Fiverr. And even if many of these channels don't use AI like they claim, I guarantee it's still a big anonymous team pumping out these videos. As someone who took a very long time trying to improve my presence on YouTube, from being a bit more open in expressing myself as well as just my video and channel style, it makes me really sad. I mean, I used to sound so bad in my early videos and my editing really wasn't that great. But I learned more and grew more, and that's human, but that's not these guys. But this is all very well and good me saying this, but to you, the viewer, do you really want to be watching zombie YouTube? I'm sure many of you can spot this passionless slot, but it's not being held accountable enough, and it 100% shouldn't be supported.
So now I'm going to go over some of the copycat channels. I'm going to sort them into the ones that I'm pretty much 100% sure are being run by Sarek Artman himself, and then the ones that we're not 100% sure on, but are also clearly AI video essay channels. So the ones that are almost certainly run by Sarek Artman are Somer Himson, which talks about The Simpsons, Bob Perch, which talks about SpongeBob, and Greeter Piffin, which talks about Family Guy. Now onto the ones that we aren't so sure on. First, we got a bunch of Simpsons ones. So we got The Flynn Theory, Theory Crafting US, Cuddle Theory, and Simpsons Spotlight. All of those are more like the white thumbnail channel ones, but then we also have Banana Alex, and back to the South Park ones. Couch Cartoonery, this one's a pretty direct copy of Sarek Artman. Mr. Perspective, which is probably the creepiest one and also used to be a WNBA news channel or something. And my personal favorite, Mr. South, formerly known as Luke T, which they changed their channel for some reason. Pretty sure this one is even using AI in the thumbnails, because what the hell is that? And they had this community post that unfortunately they deleted, but Slush happened to catch a screenshot of it before they deleted it, and it is the funniest thing I have ever read. So let me read it for you. Basically, they originally had a picture that said, oh, meet the cast of Luke T, and there were 3 different avatars there. And so this is like the little introductions that apparently each of the cast wrote. Hello there. My name is Ashley, and I'm a 32-year-old single mother of 3 wonderful young children living in the US. Writing has been a lifelong passion of mine, and I've had the pleasure of turning that passion into a profession for over a decade. Beyond my professional life, I'm a lifelong equestrian artist and a devoted Tolkien fan. Horses, creativity, and the enchanting world of Middle-earth are my escapes and sources of inspiration. In my free time, you'll often find me drawing or diving deep into rich lore. Oh my goodness. And then we got our narrator. Hello, my name is Luke, and I'm 36 years old, happily married, and father of 2 little boys living in the US. What I love about working as a voiceover artist is that I get to step into shoes of a different characters every day. And then the screenshot cut off the rest of it, but I'm sure it was hilarious. So some of my favorite small cartoon YouTubers. Obviously Slush. I know he was literally in the video, but seriously, he makes some awesome stuff. I just watched his Casa Bonita video. Awesome. Go check him out. Tendo hasn't uploaded in a while, but he made really great South Park content. Hopefully he comes back soon. Armchair Analysis, he makes some great stuff. If you like my videos, you'll definitely like his videos. Kitty Monk, of course, friend of the channel. I've even been in her videos before, so she has videos on a bunch of different cartoons. Go check it out. And of course, anyone that appeared in this video, they all make fantastic content. Really, what matters at the end of the day is that you are supporting people who are passionate about what they're doing. Not this bullshit low-effort content pumped out by AI and a bunch of people. And now hopefully you can recognize these channels a little easier so that you can make sure you always are supporting someone that needs that support. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.